going. All right, so the recording should have started now.
Yep, you're good.
Yep.
Okay, great. Sorry about that. So again, just to get to the inventory app, click the waffle and search for inventory.
And just to interject, you're going through this for internal use, correct?
This is for internal use. I will pull up the ASP portal on the desktop, not on the phone, for the purposes of this call, just so that anybody who's viewing this recording will have familiarity with the ASP process. Okay, so it's exactly the same between the online, the desktop version and the phone version. The phone app is just running through a browser. It's just a little more condensed. So everything that we're going to see today, they're going to see on their phone, and they'll be able to do it on site at the location. Okay, so just on the app, all we can see right now is that there is a report dashboard or report chart displayed, and it is grouped by state. It's grouped by order status, so it's a stacked chart as the order statuses change via IVR, via assignment, whatever. The colors in the bar will change. So for example, as we complete California, we'll be able to see by status, by order status, how far along we are in California, right? Okay. So we'll see these are all assigned, these are in progress, tech's on site, these are completed, right? The simple process is tech goes to the store, tech IVR's in, tech creates the inventory, tech IVR's out, it's done until billing, right? So everything should be assigned or pending assignment, assigned, tech on site, work complete, invoice processing. Okay, and then billed, right? Once it's billed, it's done. That means it's in QuickBooks and has been sent to the customer. Billing is going to be handled once per month. On the first work day of the month, Shannon is going to run the complete billing for the previous month. I'm going to push that into QuickBooks, and then Ashley is going to run an individual spreadsheet and PDF of just inventory invoices.
So they're not going to be sent individually with the other orders.
No, it'll be completely separate. My guess is, and John, you haven't confirmed this for me yet, but I'm going to ask you to now, is to confirm with KBS how they want this coded. So it's not 6204, shouldn't be any one of the other ones. Do they have a special code that they want this recorded under? We're not going to reinvent the wheel for this project. There's 1,600 work orders. We're just going to do it manually. Each bill that goes through, since we do it on a spreadsheet, we're going to have a single line, presumably, on each invoice is going to be a single line, and it's probably going to wind up defaulting to 6204. And then on that spreadsheet, we're going to change it to whatever they want. Right? So
yeah, I can ask them. I mean, it might be better to ask them once we send that first file. Just kind of say, hey, please note, this is it's coded to 6204. So if your team takes it and imports it, that's where it's going to end up. So make sure they change.
Right. There's not going to be any parts. There's not going to be any shipping. Right. So there's going to be on that import file that we send to KBS will be a single line per invoice, and that single line will have just the labor travel charge and the any tax. So it'll all be on a single line. So updating that would be really simple, once it's created. All right. That being said, let's get back to the front end of the process. The front end of the process is we've generated the work orders for 1,679 locations, and assigned the ones that Jeff you already have assigned. So you can see those here. The deeper blues are assigned already. Okay, right. And they were the full states. So as you get through the process and you're able to identify more, I'm going to show you now how to bulk assign, because unless you get it to me before, 2 o'clock today, you're going to be on your own for the next week. But then following that, I'll be able to do it for you, right?
Okay.
But here's what you're going to do, right? So below this chart, there's a work orders list view. Now this is only showing 10 orders, but this is a list view. It's the same as clicking on work orders and then
Okay.
selecting the KBS inventories list view. But it's here, so you don't have to do that. We just click right on the KBS inventories link, and it'll take you to that tab under that list view. So you don't have to kind of dance around and look for it. Okay. Once you're in there, you can click in the search view, and let's say we want to do all of California for search. We search for California, and it'll bring us just to the California sites.
Mhm.
And then we can hit that. Now, it defaults to 50 per view, right? So I would suggest doing 50 at a time. There's a lot of stuff running in the background, okay? So when we do this process, basically what we're doing is we're forcing a trigger to run to process rules against the work order, right? Because there's a whole bunch of stuff that happens when we assign work orders.
Right.
So what we're going to do is we're going to validate that all of these get assigned to the same ASP, right? Going to click that top checkbox. I selected 100. That's okay because I'm not gonna complete the process.
Right.
But basically, what you need to know is that this is a continuous scroll. List view is a continuous scroll. So that means it shows you 50. And as you scroll to the bottom and it hits the bottom, it loads the next 50.
Yeah. Got it.
So if you check the box and then scroll down to check make sure all of your things are correct,
Mhm.
then it won't automatically check the next 50. But if you check the box after you scroll, then it will check the box. It'll
Okay.
only check up to 200, right? So if there's more than 200 lines, it's only going to check the first 200. That's
Okay.
the max. All right. Once you've checked the box and you've determined that these are all California and they all get assigned to the same tech, you go to the technician column and you see there's a pencil here.
Yeah.
You click that pencil and you assign the technician. So if these were going to Certec, I don't know who they're going to, so I'm not really going to do it.
Yeah.
You're going to click on the technician, and then where it says update 100 selected items, you check that box. Now you notice that this whole column turned blue, right? So anything that's checked, if you don't want it, then you can uncheck it, right?
Mhm.
And then hit whatever. And see how it went to 98, right? So if it's unchecked, it goes 98. If it's white, that means that it's not checked, right? And it's not going to update. And when you hit apply, everything that is blue will be filled in. So I'm going to hit apply.
Now, if I'm just going through and doing onesie twosies here, then I don't have to click the update for everything below.
If you're doing onesie twosie, then you're just going to check the boxes individual. Boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, for whatever locations you want, right?
Well, I mean, and
Or-
that's
or-
like what's going to happen for the ones that I'll be able to update. It's going to be like California, Texas, probably Arizona, Washington, where we're going to have multiple technicians split
Right.
different.
So what I'm showing you now is just the bulk dispatch, the bulk assignment process, right? If you want to say, oh, hey, I got a location, you want to do it? Yeah, okay. Open the work order, hit the assign button,
Mhm.
hit the assign button, and just go through the assignment flow.
Okay,
Through the work order.
perfect.
Only use this process if you have multiples,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I would say it's worth it for anything more than five
Yeah.
work orders or whatever, right?
I agree.
So once you've hit that apply and all of your rows fill in, you then have to hit save. If you hit cancel now, or if you browse to someplace else, none of these are going to be updated. That everything that you just did will be wiped out. So if you made a mistake, or if you think you're making a mistake, just hit cancel and there's no harm, no foul. Okay.
Good.
As soon as you hit save, then the screen is going to go gray and it's going to process, and then the changes are going to lock in, right?
Mhm.
If you get a red triangle down here next to the cancel button or anywhere along here,
Mhm.
it means that there was an error and your process didn't complete.
Okay.
So you'll need to hit cancel and go back and redo it. Yeah, start over. Usually it means that the location is not active or something, right? Something happened in the code,
Okay.
right? Okay.
Okay.
So so that's the bulk dispatch. Okay. You can also, as long as you don't hit this filter, you can just clear that and your original list will come back. You can hit this filter and make changes here. I'm going to ask that you don't do that because this is tied directly to that home page. So that's going to be
Yeah.
our tracker, right?
Okay.
If you need to do anything with this or you want to see a separate list view, I just want to see the ones that aren't assigned yet, or I want to see the ones that are in process, right? Then you can hit this gear and hit clone. By
Okay.
cloning this, it's saving a copy of it. You can leave it to only I can see this view, so that way it's not cluttering up everybody else's work order list views, right?
Mhm.
And just you can leave it copy of, you can call it something else, whatever, and then you can put whatever filters you want, right?
Yeah.
In that version of it, and it'll leave this one whole. Okay. All right.
Have you guys, and forgive me, I wandered off for a minute there, but I was thinking, I was going to ask the question, California is a big state. I think it's getting chopped up to 2 or 3 different texts, Jeff, right?
Yeah.
So
At least
when you
two.
get to assigning those, you would do the CA search in that box, and then you can sort by geozone, and you can assign it that way.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you can't search by geozone because it's a lookup field, and you can't search via lookup fields on a list view. However, you can on the filter. Now, I'm going to just contradict what I just said. But if you're on that list and you need to, for California purposes, you need to do zone 1 through 10 to one vendor and 11 through 20 to another vendor, then you can, in the filters, put in geozone equals California 1, California 2, California 3, right? Hit save, it'll filter that list, make your update for the technicians, and then go back to filters and remove it after you've completed it, right? Just make sure that if you're going to do that for the sake of just splitting up, a state, then just make sure that you remove it when you're done, so that anybody who comes and hits this home page will see a full report.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
If you don't, if you save that filter, it will affect this chart. So somebody will come here and just see California 1 and be like,
Okay.
what's up?
I think I mean, obviously it'll work both ways, and it's good that Jeff starts to understand filters and reporting beyond what he, just continually learn it.
Yeah.
But it might just be easiest, in my opinion, just to do what you did: search California, sort by geozone, and then just check the boxes down to.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I agree. I agree with that 100%. And that's really an easy way to do it. If you're doing multiple zones, and especially if the zones are in order, which most of them are, right? So I assume somebody's going to get Northern California. Well, Northern California is not 1 and 23 and 17 and 5. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So you should be able to do it right in order there.
Yeah. I think if everything goes the way that I'm hoping it breaks, then essentially we're going to be able to get like California into 2, and I'm going to have one company that's going to do Southern California, and the other company is going to do the Central Valley and Northern California.
Cool. All right. There are no emails going out when these orders get assigned. Nothing's going to anybody. All right. As far as the technicians are concerned, we're not. If we were to send them out there, they'd all get spammed with the number of emails, and who knows what they would do with it, right? So, so I've created another list view for the technician, and we're gonna just jump right into ASP view. Okay. So ASP view, nothing shows up in their to-dos, right? This homepage is basically the ASP portal, the ASP to-do list, right? So they have an expired IVR, they have overdue
Right.
or ETAs, they've got work orders that they have to assign, right? That's what shows up here. If they need anything else, under the work orders tab, and the instructions are very specific about this on how to get here, and this is going to be kind of the desktop version, right? So this is just like clicking that hamburger menu and then selecting the work orders from the video. Then we're going to look at the available list views and search for inventory. They now have an open inventory orders view. It keeps it separate from their normal jobs, but they can actually see, they can sort by geozone, they can sort by city, state, whatever they want to do, right? And they can also do the same filter. So if they're looking for, well, what do I have in Cordova, California, right? They can search for Cordova and see what they have, right?
Can they export a list?
They cannot export a list.
So Jeff would have to send that to them if they ask for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can also include it in their open report. They get an open report maybe almost daily. I imagine they'll see it on there. I did not filter that. I did not filter it all. So I don't know if it includes logistic orders, then they'll see it. If not, then we can either add it or do something different to send the inventory with that. All right. Once they open up the work order, if they've accepted it and scheduled the time, right, then they'll see the IVR instructions. If not, then they have to scroll down and get the IVR instructions. But either way, when they're on the site, they need the IVR in as soon as they get to the site. That moves it from assigned or scheduled to tech on site, right? Very important for the process, okay? Once they're done checking in, they come up here and they hit new inventory. On the phone, it's right at the top of the screen, right? If they've already been in here and they've created an inventory, this will reuse that inventory. If they have not, and this is the first time they're there, when they click that button, it creates that inventory record, which it skips right over that. They don't even see it. So what they're looking at now is the form for inventory details. So this is start collecting machines, right? So they select the make, they select the type, then they select the make.
But we're hoping and anticipating and hoping that they're not doing it on the portal. They're not doing it like this. They're doing it from their phone.
Yeah.
Correct.
It's
exactly the same form, but yes. Yeah, from the site, it's best for them. They don't ever have to touch it again.
Yeah, so I wouldn't even show them this. I mean, if they stumble into it.
This is for us.
Yeah.
This is for us. I didn't do anything with it. So once they've gotten the model, they're going to they got to check the serial number. So if they can't find a serial number plate, or if the serial number plate is completely missing, unreadable, there's nothing on there. There's no asset tag. The OEM number plate is ripped off, whatever. Then they should change this to yes. So there's the serial number field. If they change it to yes, the serial number field goes away and a default value is placed there. That's a series of X's. That's just so that it's searchable for us. And lowercase x is not likely to be used as part of a serial number. Uppercase X could be part of a serial number, or question marks are not really searchable, and we don't want them ever to put in notes. So if they can't read it, I don't want to see that. We don't need to see that. It doesn't help us in any way, shape, or form. So we know that if there's 7 X's, that it's a missing serial number plate. Okay. So entering in the full serial number, there are instructions here, and there were instructions on the video. Full serial number, whatever you're reading on the serial number plate, that's what we want to see. Don't give us the last 4. Don't shorten it because it's industry standard. It's normal, and you normally only report the last four. They only need the last four, whatever. It doesn't matter. We need the full serial number. So we're going to expect that they put in 5680, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever, right? Whatever the number is. Next, they're going to check the hour meter. Again, there's an hour meter field here. If the hour meter is missing or broken or not installed on the unit, they're going to change that to yes. Is the hour meter missing or broken? Yes. That field goes away and it puts a default value of 999.99 in that field. So if we see that 999.99, we know that that's not real. Oh, there's no machines out there with that many hours. All right. Otherwise, they can enter 4 digits, a decimal, and 2 more digits, and so they can enter up to that same amount. The decimal's not automatic, so if it's 19.6 hours, they need to enter 19.6. All right. Next, we're asking them, does the unit appear to be in use? So it's just a judgment call. We're not asking them to do an inspection of the unit or anything. Just a quick, when you got to the unit, is it covered in freight? Is it missing a bunch of parts, key parts like squeegee tools and brushes and chargers and stuff? Is it on the charger? Does it look like it's been, properly maintained or whatever? Does it appear to be in use? The answer should be normally yes. And then if it is yes, then they have the option to enter in a note. If there's anything of note regarding that piece of equipment, not the service call, not his trip to the store, there was a lot of traffic, no work order notes. If there's any work order notes, those should go on the work order, not on the inventory. All right. If the unit is not appearing to be in use and they change that toggle to no, the inventory notes field becomes mandatory, and I've asked that they be prepared to enter in a short description as to why not, right? So machine has been stripped for parts or whatever, right? So if we were going to do that, hopefully not right in Swahili. All right. Next is, do we want to add another machine? This is yes or no. It doesn't say that yet, but whatever, it defaults to yes. If they leave that to yes and they click next, it's going to reload this form with all clean values, so you can enter in another machine. If they're done, then they change it to no, and then they click next, and it will exit the process and take them to the inventory.
Oh, okay.
So what they can see on the inventory is the location that it's related to. They can see the work order that it's related to and how many units they've actually counted. I did some tests on this, so you can see there's already equipment already listed on there, but it just shows you the process. It's not going to create a new work order. Excuse me, it's not going to create a new inventory record every time you click that new inventory button. If there's already an inventory created for that work order, it's going to reuse that. And if it happens to be on different days, like if they go on one day and they count the scrubbers and then they say, oh, we didn't get the burnishers, they have to go back the next day. They go back the next day, then that inventory date is going to be reflected on the inventory detail line, not the actual inventory. So this inventory will have been created whenever it was. The inventory date is going to be based on the actual count of the machine. Okay, and then all of the fields are available. If we could view all next to that that list, we can see all of the machines and all of the input. The thing we can't see right now, and I'll change that when we get back, when I get off the call, is to include the equipment type on this list. Other than that, they can edit. So if they want to come in here and look and say that serial number was missing a digit, then they can come in and they can edit it and click save. Oh.
What's that?
I broke it.
You broke it.
I broke it.
Good thing he showered before.
This is not a game stopper, all right? So obviously there's something weird going on. I'm not going to be too concerned about it because this is a test order. Normally it's not following the normal process. So I'll go back and I'll check and see why it's done that. But it should be okay, you know. I expect there to be some glitches here and there as people start using these things and they start doing things unexpectedly, right? So I don't really expect, if it becomes an issue that they can't edit once they're in here, no big deal. We'll shut down the edit. Okay, and they'll have to set, you know, just put in a new line.
Jesse, do you have anything else to cover in terms of what you're doing now?
Yep. So that's it. That's the whole process. We already covered billing, right? Once they're done there, they go back to the work order, they IVR out. Once they've IVR'd out, I've asked that they just do work completed, right? There's no reason for it to go to estimate, to waiting parts, nothing. There are no additional work. There's no additional work authorized on these work orders. It is just inventory count, period. So
can we make sure the work order, and sorry, Jesse, but that's a good point. Can we make sure the work order instructions that, oh, you already made the work orders?
yeah,
okay.
I can update them.
Can you just add a line that says, you know, no, do not perform any work or provide any estimates unless specifically requested?
Yep, absolutely. So in the instructions, it says, you know, on the video, it says just check out, work completed. There's no reason to do anything else. So those work orders will go straight from tech on site to work completed, awaiting partner invoice. There's no reason to wait. So as they send in billing, Shannon has already been instructed on how to enter the billing. So she's going to enter, if it's a travel and labor contracted technician, they'll enter in travel and labor with the note that it's for inventory. And if they enter in a contracted rate like $50 or whatever it is that you're contracting for, then they're entering in a labor line for $50 that says labor for inventory.
So the techs still have to put in the invoice, or this is automatically going to tally this?
No, Shannon's team's going to have to put in the billing. They're going to have to submit an invoice for each one, right? And however they normally do their billing, right?
Can we just let them do a bulk bill?
Yeah, whatever. If they want to do bulk bill, then absolutely they can do that. As long as every single line refers back to a proper work order, then I don't see any problem with that.
Okay, good.
Shannon's team would probably, you know, appreciate that.
Yeah, well, I think the ASPs would too, because they can submit it as they go along, you know, every 2 weeks, every week, or whatever works for them.
So the only thing is they need to make sure that they're including everything from the same calendar month, right? So I don't want to bill. We can't have a bill for the last week of December and the first 2 weeks of January, and then, oh, you know what, I got to start collecting this money, and then give me another one for the next week. You know what I'm saying? We're going to bill once a month. So
yeah, we're going to bill once a month. I see what you're saying.
If we get one invoice on the 31st of January for everything that they did for January plus December, then we have to split that out. We have to give them a separate invoice for December and then a separate invoice for January. But not only that, we have 1 day to do it.
We don't have to do that. He wants monthly billing just for sake of cutting down on paperwork. He doesn't care I don't think he cares if the inventory was done on December 27th and the bill doesn't come till January 31st. That doesn't matter to him.
Yeah. Still, we don't want to get all the billing at the end of the month.
No, we don't. They got to keep up with it, but
yeah, because then if billing has to stop what they're doing and do inventory billing just in 1 day, it's going to be a real mess.
Yeah, I just on the note of billing, they do obviously need to make sure they give us the location list of what they're billing for. That should go without saying, but that's
well, with the work orders, the way it's set up now, right? We're going to see on our home tab. When these get billed, they're going to be a different color. So we're going to see the states, whatever. And when we click into that, let me pick one that's smaller. When we go to the report, are you still seeing that? My border went away. Can you guys still see my screen?
Yep, there it is.
Okay. All right. So when you're in the report, let's just pick DC, right? So right now it's orange. Orange means that it's assigned, right? So here's the sub status is assigned. As it goes to build or whatever, we'll have a full list of the locations and whatever, all the equipment that was inventoried, etc. So we'll be able to provide reporting that will show this is everything that was counted in the last month, right? Or whatever. This is everything that's billed to date. This is everything that was, counted to date. And we can have as much or as little detail on it as we need to. So if we need to report by location as the work order closes, we're going to be able to, because the locations and the work orders are one-to-one.
Got it.
Okay. Anything else?
The only thing I wanted to throw out there at the end here is Jesse made that video, of course, for LMS. We're going to get that course live.
Oh,
so I like to I know it's kind of like a, to an extent, pieces of this are kind of like a no-brainer, but I do really want to make sure we push hard on getting them all. This is a good reason to get these technicians kind of loaded up on LMS, break the ice with them and get an easy course to complete.
Yeah.
So have you been instructed how to add technicians or sync them with LMS?
No.
Okay. Bob knows how to do that. So obviously it's not going to get done today. So next week, maybe just plan on syncing up with Bob,
Okay.
and giving him the technicians that you want to sync up that you already have assigned, and then just reach out, text, and give them a rundown of what it is, and make sure they do have all of their technicians completed.
Yeah. Well, they're gonna have to do that before they actually get started with doing the inventories.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a new process. They're going to need to see it. They're going to at least need to review that video. The video is part of the course, right? So I just brought this up so that I could show you kind of the course. In Service Edge, they can get to their catalog. Under ASP training, there is the TSS inventory process and introduction. They should have access to this. So if they have a Service Edge account already, they can already get to this and self-enroll in the class. If they don't, I would suggest that we sync them up through their contact from Salesforce as we assign them the orders, and then come in here and enroll them in the admin. So in the admin panel to enroll them. Bob knows how to do that, and I think Johnny, you know how to do that.
Yeah.
Basically, you go to the user and you click on, or go to the course and you click on the user, whichever. You can do it either way. You can click on the course or you can click on the user.
But I think it's a perfect time to do this, because the course itself is obviously fairly straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
So, getting them logged in and understanding the system is going to be, a hurdle for them. So the fact that the course is easy, I think it complements it well. It's not overbearing for them.
Okay.
And once we break the ice with, majority of our techs, adding courses and getting them enrolled and all that good stuff, it's going to be that much easier.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Jesse, they're not. If we enroll a new tech, are they gonna see the EnerSys training?
They'll be able to see it. Any new ASPs will be automatically enrolled in the EnerSys training.
Can you turn that auto off for EnerSys?
Yeah. Are you done? Are you done with the?
No. I don't want, if we, like a technician we're using for inventory, but we're not using for EnerSys yet, there's no reason to even give him that course just yet. I think the auto enrollment should only be on process stuff, like this inventory course, as we build them out. But
yeah. So do you want me to just make this auto enrollment?
I would make the inventory one auto enrollment, yes. The EnerSys I would pull off of auto enrollment.
Okay. Um,
So literally, when we're signing or when we're getting the inventory technicians synced up to Service Edge, we don't even have to go into the LMS. We can just sync them up in Salesforce, and as soon as they get logged in, they'll see it.
Yep. So auto enrollment, see, so this is who it's available to. So it's available to anyone with an account type of ASP, right? It's also available to anybody in GCM2, right? And that's us. If, so that means we can see it in the catalog and we can enroll in it, right? Oh, I'm sorry. That means anybody can see it in the catalog. These are the ones that can self-enroll. This one here says automatic enrollment. So we're going to say anybody with an account type of ASP is an automatic enroll.
Cool.
Okay.
That way it won't issue if we sync over customers like Walmart, we did, you know, whatever. They won't be auto enrolled and that kind of stuff. But we can do customer training auto enrollments as well.
Awesome.
What else? What else? Now anybody that we sync, anybody that we sync is going to get that introduction, inventory process introduction.
Any ASP.
Any ASP, yeah.
Right.
Yep. So, which leads me to, you know, going forward, I can think of at least 3 classes that need to be on here regarding ASP portal, right? So the process stuff. Now the problem is, how much of this stuff do you want to really, you know, do you want to give it to them all and let them pick which ones they do and then, you know, in what order they do them, or do we want to, you know, just give them one and then when they complete that, give them the next one?
I think we have to see what the content is, you know, and then decide from there.
Right. What I'm worried about is, you know, you show up for the first day of school and they hand you 20 bucks and you're trying to walk down the hall with 20 bucks in your hand and you're like, I ain't touching any of these. You know what I mean?
Right.
At least that's how I was.
No, that makes sense. Yeah. I mean, to your point, like we can just do like a, you know, if there's, let's just say there's 5 courses, like you said, select the sequence that makes most sense.
Yeah.
Auto enroll them in the one. When they do that, make it auto enroll to the second one.
Right.
You know, kind of ease it on to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So good.
So that's that. Everything is set. As long as we're all on the same page and we understand what the process is, I don't expect any issues whatsoever. The courses are assigned, or excuse me, the orders are already partially assigned.
Yeah.
They're not going out, but you can run a list and send it to each one of them and say, okay, guys, it's ready. Go to LMS first, sync them up, show them the course, right?
Yeah.
They have to complete that course. Then as soon as they complete that course, you can send them that list of work orders and they can get started, right?
That brings up the next thought is, Jeff, you and I chatted about this, but most of these techs are going to try to route it with their PMs.
Right.
Their PMs are not going to fire till January 1st.
Right.
So I mean, it's a week away, you know, timing is of the essence of really both projects, but mainly this inventory thing, right? So do we want to give them a sneak peek of their PMs?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I can see where you're going at with it, but I mean, the real thing is that everybody's going to essentially hit the ground running on the 1st.
Okay.
January.
Okay.
I mean, they're not. I think everybody already out there in the field already understand it's like it's almost useless to try to go into these stores, especially since a lot of them are grocery stores and like the Targets, big retail, during the Christmas and post-Christmas rush.
I agree. It's a good point.
gonna
I
be
agree with you.
in the
Yeah.
house.
So we'll just make sure next week we get the rest of them assigned, or
Yeah.
sent as many as we can.
Yeah,
Get them all signed.
that's what I'm going for. Is I want to get everything assigned. I want to get the my goal is it's like I need to get it in within that 80%, which I think is going to be all of our big metro areas, all of our concentrated areas. The ones that are going to be tricky are the ones that I've got to have that are going to cover like multi-states out west. I've got to work out those routes with those guys, but I'm shooting to get 100%. If I get to 80 or higher, then I'm going to feel like we've accomplished something.
Yeah, perfect. So you're shooting for 80 by the end of next week, 80% assigned, and then of course get all of those guys.
I'm shooting for
with
100.
LMS.
I'm shooting for 100, but I'm expecting that I can get at least 80.
Okay. All right.
And if we can do that, then that's enough to, hit the trumpet and release the horses, the dogs, or whatever.
Yep. But make sure you include the LMS piece too. Try to get them all logged into LMS too by the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, that's something, I can work with Bob on, because, right off the bat next week, we can start enrolling the guys that already are doing like the entire states
Absolutely.
that you've already got on there for us, Jesse. So
Yep.
we can go ahead and get those guys signed up. They can go through the courses. We can get the guys that are already going to be going through like the Surtec, the TNT, the Rutherfords, that are already going to be going through the Intersys programs, and let them go ahead and get the LMS, do the additional LMS on the inventory, because again, they're going to be multitasking as they go through the countryside. So if we can get those, we just get the guys, even if we just get those, that's going to be a big bulk of these guys that are be able to knock it out.
Perfect.
So this gives us a great kickoff, man. This is all good.
When you give them the LMS, Service Edge, right? Push that name. Make sure you tell them, I'm going to sync you up with Service Edge, and you're gonna be assigned a course, an online course. It's a 10-minute video with 10 questions at the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
It'll take them 15 minutes to complete the thing, and then they'll be at least familiar with the process before they get out and start doing these things, right? So worst thing is to be uninformed and then start the process, start the job, and then be told, no, you're not doing it right, because everybody's familiar with how they want to do it, right?
Yeah.
So,
no, agreed.
Okay.
This will give them that good start. All right. And then the only thing I didn't show you is I have two work reports in here already, KBS inventory work orders and KBS inventory locations. They're just basic reports. Feel free to pull them up and do whatever you want with them. Okay. I have them in here just as base reports to kind of get us started.
Okay.
All right.
Beautiful.
All right, man.
Again, Jesse, thank you very much.
No
enjoy your
problem.
vacation.
I'm gonna try. I got a week. I'm gonna have at least 2 days of just doing nothing, and then we'll see how bored. Then we'll see how bored I get.
Yeah.
You guys have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. All right.
Yeah.
We'll see
right.
you next. We'll see you next year.
You got it. Thanks, Jesse.
Thank you. See you, Jeff.
See
Bye.
ya.